What's up, guys? Matt Chad here. Hope you like the clip. Right now I'm going to teach you guys a little bit of isolation. Now, as far as isolation applies to popping a robot, the definition is essentially you're going to be moving one body part at a time and leaving the rest of your body still. I actually like to start with something that's not really an isolation. It's more so moving the entire body as one piece. So, demonstration. Moving your entire body as one piece. And just practicing that, you can have your arms down, you can have your arms up in some sort of robotic pose. But that right there, I like to practice to an 8 count. Helps you learn how to get on beat, helps you learn how to dime stop in a slow way. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now from there, that's pretty much the first step, in my opinion, to robotic isolation. The second step, you can pretty much move any one body part separate from your other, the rest of your body. So, for example, with my head, with my body, with my arm, with my head, with my body, with my arm, with my whole upper body, with my arm, with my head, with my arm, with my body. You get the idea. There is another aspect to isolation. It's not just moving one body part separate from the rest of your body. I mean, you can add on, you can move two things at once. You can put them together more quickly. But there's another aspect to isolation that a lot of people utilize. I like to use it in my style. It's essentially isolating a point in space. The best way to start to work on that, in my opinion, is it's best if you have a wall, but I don't have a wall right next to me, so place your hand in space and kind of just walk towards your hand and away from it. And get that feeling. It's not going to be perfect, but the idea is to leave that point there, isolate that body part in space, move everything else around it. I use this a lot in many different ways. A perfect example is, say for example, I isolate my arm, bring that up, I'm going to isolate this point right here. My hand is here in space, and I'm going to move the rest of my body and leave that hand there in space. Works well if you do it kind of quick and move it to different points and then isolate the rest of your body off of that point. A lot of people use, in this clip, I did a little bit of, I kind of built a box and then kind of moved around it and isolated off of that, and then I turned it into a pipe and I kind of moved that around. And, there's a lot of different ways to use isolating a point in space. Back to the first form of isolation, you have your simple isolations where you're moving one body part at a time or two body parts at a time, and then you have the isolating a point in space, different ways to use that. Then there's also, beyond that, there's a way of kind of combining the two. And I don't really have a determined definition for this or name for it, but it's, I'm sure you've seen the head, chest stuff, So essentially what I'm doing is I'm isolating a point in space, my head, and then moving the rest of my body around it. And in this example, I can just lean, I can extend my head out, isolate that point, and just lean forward, move my head again, isolate that point, move my head again. I can go from the waist, bend from the waist, so move my head out, isolate the rest of my body from that point, move my head out, isolate the rest of my body, and I'm bending from the waist. Another way to utilize it is, again, isolating my head. I can just kind of lean my body side to side, or I can move it from the waist, back and forwards, and head forward. Again, isolating that point in space. From there, you get the famous head-chest isolation. I'm sure you guys have seen different ways to do it, but again, I'm isolating my head, moving this part of my body while keeping that point there. Now, there is definitely a lot of muscular contraction and work that goes into keeping my head there. So essentially, if I'm moving my upper body and leaning my head here, and I'm moving it to the left, at the same exact time, I have to slightly move my head to the right. And vice versa, if I move it to the right, I have to keep my head there. And same thing if I'm isolating my head and moving my upper body forward, I'm doing whatever I can with the musculature in my neck to keep my head there. A good way to do this, if you don't have a mirror to look at when you're actually dancing, is you have your field of view. And I like to use my field of view as a point of reference. I know that my head's moving around, but my field of vision is moving. So if I'm isolating my chest, it's always going to move a little bit, I see it, but I'm trying to keep my field of view as still as possible. So that's my instructional. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out Nonstop's album, Volume 1. You can click at it right there.